Welcome back to another episode of Uncle Rudd's Catfishing. Today, we're talking about the boat. Now this is going to be a budget-friendly catfish boat video. You got a lot of expensive catfish boats out there that don't exactly have what you need or have more than what you need and you don't use it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Now this is a 2024 Weldbilt 2070. I wish it was a 2072 just for a little bit more room, but it'll be just fine. It's got everything you need minus a live well. Now the reason for that is I don't always catfish out of this boat. I can take a live well out and fish for whatever I want to, bass, carp, crappie, you name it. So we're gonna go over a few features of this boat, so stay tuned. Now, the first thing we're gonna talk about is the engine here. You're not gonna get anywhere without a good, reliable engine. And you need to have some power to it. So when you're loaded down with gear, live well if you're fishing tournaments, you'll be able to get where you're going and get there relatively quickly. This boat would be super scary at 60 miles an hour. It does wide open in the 40-42 range. Now it is super quiet, super fuel efficient, gets the job done, starts up every time. I did have a 60 on it, and it took all it could take to run 30 miles an hour. This boat will cruise at 30 without even breathing hard or anything. It'll just ride all day at 30 miles an hour. Now to go along with your main motor, you're gonna need a really good trolling motor, preferably 24 or 36 volts. This is a Minn Kota Ulterra. Now some people aren't big fans of the Ulterra because it does have the auto deploy and your belt can break. Knock on wood, mine hasn't yet. Mine's a 24 volt auto deploy spot lock. The only thing I don't have that I could add to it would be a hummingbird unit to be able to do the follow the contours, but I can do that with my remote. I can record a track and go back to the start of the track and the track's there. Now one of my main gripes about the Ulterra is the sway on spot lock. This thing, if the wind's blowing and I don't have drift socks out, will spin around in a circle. Now I reached out to Minn Kota and they said that's normal. It has a 5-foot circle that it can go around, but especially for catfishing, you don't want to be spinning anywhere. When I set baits up deep, I don't want to move at all. Now I did buy some drift socks and that seems to have fixed the problem, but there has to be current. It's East Tennessee. Sometimes we have current, sometimes it's a bathtub out there. Now I do have multi-bars on this boat. Obviously that's not a budget-friendly option. There are some cheaper options out there, but the guys there are great. They're made in the USA and they get the job done. Now I did go with Smackdown Rod Holders. Nothing against the other companies that are out there, but I just think Smackdown is definitely the superior product. With TVA generating electricity, there's all kinds of stuff that floats down the water. Summertime we'll get a severe thunderstorm and they'll start spilling. So logs, you know, whatever. We found a kayak going down the water one time. This thing's brighter than bright. It got me in trouble with TWRA. Important note, if you have a searchlight, don't keep it on running down the water. You can pulse it on and off. But yeah, this one, this light right here, they said it was a barge coming down the water, but definitely invest in a good light. Now I had to do a custom build, but a custom build came out cheaper than a brand new Sea Art. So I love this wide open floor plan. I've got rod storage over here. I've got my seat and my electronics over here. This also doubles as a seat. So, and there's enough room. We've put camping chairs right here before and just drug down the river and just sat and watched the rods. So that was my biggest thing with this boat, was having room. When I fish tournaments, I put my live well right in the center up front, so that still leaves the back. Still got plenty of room to cast, plenty of room to move around. I've had people fall asleep on this bench. You know, it's an 8-foot bench, so plenty of room in this boat. That's why I built it the way I did, is I wanted room to operate. You know, some of these other boats have steps and enclosed, and you know, you ain't got room to move. So I wanted room to move. plenty of room in here. All sorts of stuff. Fit rods in here. I've had like 20 rods on here when I take people out. Had up to 5 people in here, 6 people, so definitely plenty of room in this boat. Now, this is my office. I've got a Garmin 10-inch. We've got live scope on it, down imaging, side imaging. Got my switch panel here. We've got everything. We've got UV lights on the back, aerator, and live well pump. Keep those tucked under until I have my live well in here. Obviously nav lights, anchor lights, search light. I've got some green LEDs in here for when it's really dark at night and you're trying to see stuff. I normally keep those off. The bugs absolutely love them. Obviously bilge pump and live scope. I've got a Sniper Marine live scope mount over there. Now the best thing about the Sniper Marine pole and live scope is I can take it in and out. I don't have to have it on my trolling motor. One of the biggest complaints about live scope and people who put it on their trolling motor is you can't see what's around without moving the trolling motor. So say you want to stay straight and you've got shad to your left, you look over there, you're going to go that way. So you know, possibility of spooking them and whatnot. But yeah, live scope is a game changer. Now I've used it for catfish. It's really fun. You know, finding them that way if the bite's tough. Or when you're dragging, watching them come up and hit your bait, or swim up to your bait, or follow it for 20 minutes before they decide to eat. But solely my purpose for live scope was for finding bait, skipjack, shad, etc. Now one of the complaints that people have about my boat is this big step. It's not bad as long as you've got any sort of athleticism. I did it that way because I do plan on adding a fuel tank, probably about 1 foot wide, just all the way across. That way my tanks aren't at the back. But this does leave plenty of storage. I've got 2 watt cycle lithium, 100 amp hours in there. I've got my NOCO charger. I've got life jackets, drift socks, tools, spare knives, you name it. It's just a treasure chest. And this boat has plenty of storage. All right, y'all, thanks for tuning in. This is my baby, my office. My pride and joy. Her name is Grace. I've got a video coming out about why she is named that. 2024 2070 Weldbilt 140 Tohatsu Minn Kota Ulterra, Garmin 10-inch, side scan, down scan, live scope. It's loaded. Sticker out the door, I believe somewhere around 40, and that's ready to go on the water. Bought this boat, Backwoods Landing in Huntsville, Alabama. If you like something like this, give them a call. I don't think they'll ever forget my boat because I was calling them every other day, changing stuff, moving stuff, checking on stuff. But yeah, it's 103, 108, something like that. I'm gonna get out of here, go get in the air condition. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.